Hey everybody, how you doing? I thought I would take a minute after practice and actually talk to you guys really quick. So practice, we just finished our kind of first cross-country practice back since our county kind of suspended all sports for a minute. Still wearing my mask even though clearly nobody is around, just to kind of prove a little point that I can be out here in 36-degree weather, or I think that's like 96, 97 in freedom units out here in jeans and a mask, and it is completely all right. I know you can still hear me because my athletes have been able to hear me all practice, but regardless who we are, I'm here for two reasons. One, I'm going to tell you how we safely socially distance ourselves during cross-country training, and next we have a little part that I'm kind of doing for our back to school is kind of get to know your teacher. If you look on our Canvas page or my YouTube channel, we have I did a video where I interviewed myself, and then what I'm going to do moving forward is actually talk about all my different polo shirts that I have. We'll start with this one. This one is about 10-11 years old. Long story short, I did my student training at the Southport School in Queensland, Australia. I got hired on as a coach there before a teacher, which was a blast. Had an awesome time there. Definitely set kind of my foundation for track and field coaching there, where the head coach and my mentor, Mark Ladbrook, he's the one that kind of showed me the ways of coaching, even though I'd been an athlete in track and field for a number of years before that. It was great to learn from him because he was a former Olympian, 96 Olympics, obviously here in Atlanta, which was rather ironic years later, I guess, for me to come back to where he competed in the Olympics to now coach, which I think is fantastic. Anyway, so that's where this is from. The Southport School, huge rugby school, not a very big track school, but I don't know what school is a big track school. Well, there's a few out there. Anyway, so that's where this is from. So 11 years later, 10 years later, it still kind of fits, so I'm kind of happy about that. Next, okay, how we are going to socially distance during the cross-country season. So I've been to a bunch of different webinars over the summer about how to return safely. Because of my wife and having been through the whole med school thing, we've made a number of friends in that sort of doctor sports med community. One of them out of Baylor University, Dr. Irvine. If you're watching this, thank you, Dr. Irvine, shout out to you. We've gone back and forth a few times just through messaging about how to return safely when you're a runner, and we've narrowed it down, or he's narrowed it down to what we call the 4 Ds of running. Double the distance and don't draft. So we're gonna say at least 12 feet behind someone, and we can run beside each other no problem, right? Especially if you're wearing a mask, and at least 6 feet apart beside, and then we're not gonna draft, so you're not gonna stand right behind someone. Now next, Dr. J, Emory Sports Medicine, he did a whole return to play webinar with some awesome doctors there about how we can do that and how we can minimize the risk. As you know, you can never completely eliminate the risk, but all we're doing is minimizing it. Because what's happening right now is that as the cases are starting to go down and sports are starting to ramp back up, what I'm really worried about is that injury period. And the highest rate of injury during the time of year in any sport is during the preseason. So what we have a bunch of athletes right now, especially football players, that haven't ran, that haven't hit, that haven't trained or lifted weights in months. And now they're coming right back and jumping into games, and we need a lot of time, right? 4 to 12 weeks of preseason, well, 4 weeks, 12 weeks being a lot, but we need at least a month of preseason where we can kind of acclimate the body again to those intense conditions, so we can minimize injury. So that said, track season is starting in a few months. Our season doesn't officially start till January, and our first meets aren't till February. So if we can kind of slowly start with the cross-country team, sun came back out, so if we can slowly start with the cross-country team, getting people acclimated to running again, we have a better chance of reducing injuries come the start of the track season. Sorry about that, the sweat in my eye was getting really bad now that the sun came out as I look back at the sun. So that's it. So get to know your teacher a little bit more. I'm gonna wear a polo a day for the next week until school starts, and I'll tell you the story behind each of the polos and what job I worked and what school it was at and a little bit about it. So Southport School from Queensland, if anyone from that school is watching, shout out to you guys. I had a great start to teaching there, and definitely never forget you guys even 10, 11 years later, still talking about you guys, so that's fantastic. Next is the 4 Ds of running. Double the distance and don't draft. And then lastly, what I was talking about with Dr. J is that we need to minimize our exposure time, so anything less than 15 minutes. And then obviously the closer we are, the higher chance we have to transmit. So we're going to be nice and at least 6 feet away. And obviously you can hear me talk through this and breathe just fine, so there's no reason why you guys can't wear one of these as well. I will do another couple videos of me running with the mask on, whether it's a surgical mask or this Under Armour mask, and then show you guys just how feasible it is to do that. So that's enough of me talking today, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.